Seahawks general manager John Schneider. John, what have you slept?
Not much. We had a great night. It was very exciting around here.
What are you doing in the third quarter when it's 29-0, but there's still, in theory, enough time, in theory, for this to turn around?
I was sitting right next to Mr. Allen and right next to the NFL people that were actually right on our left, and just thinking about, Peyton Manning and everything I've seen him do over the course of his career. So it never got, I guess I never, felt like, the game was over at that point.
Well, and it was over, and we saw that it was over, and the Seahawks have their first Super Bowl in franchise history. You've been on the job 4 years now. You've really laid the foundation. Let's go back to that decision to take Russell Wilson. All the talk about, is he tall enough? I mean, how did that factor into your assessment of Russell Wilson when you drafted him?
Just his height. I mean, his height was obviously, the biggest issue, but, we had spent a lot of time. The last time I was in Seattle, which was 2000, with Coach Holmgren, we were either going to trade for Matt Hasselbeck or, we had 2 first-round picks, so we knew we were going to have a great shot at Drew Brees or sign Mark Brunell, his contract was running up in Jacksonville. So I had spent a ton of time with Drew Brees, studying him and, the guy, the person, and this was the closest thing I had seen in talking about Russell. So to me, these guys, they've always played at the same height. They have the ability to move their feet, move well in the pocket, and find passing lanes and throw with anticipation and throw people open, and that's what he does.
Talking to Seahawks general manager John Schneider, Super Bowl champion general manager. How many times did you talk to Russell Wilson, interview him, sit down with him before you drafted him in the third round a couple of years ago?
Probably, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 times, but then I tried to stay away towards the end because, the game you play, right? So I didn't want, people knowing how much admiration I had for him.
And you really got lucky, John, because as far as I can tell, every other team loved Russell Wilson, and every other team was ready to take him right after you did. And if you hadn't taken him, they all would have taken him.
Yeah, you knew there was going to be a run on what that year what everybody would have thought was like a second tier of quarterbacks. And, it happened to be Foles after Russell. But, I had texted a buddy of mine that works a lot of quarterbacks, and I was like, I think this guy's going to go right in here, man. We got to do this, right? I got to do this now. And didn't want to wait because I knew Buffalo. I didn't know Buffalo. We did know Buffalo liked him a lot, and we were behind them in the 4th round, and so we had been through a draft before where we had passed a quarterback, and it's just too important of a position to pass on.
How much were you thinking about trading up as he got closer and closer to you in the 3rd round?
Honestly, wasn't. I thought we were in a good spot. We thought we were in a good spot at that point because I think everybody had him, saying, well, we'll take him to the bottom of the 3rd, top of the 4th, something like that, and that's where he's going to go. And if you look at the teams that were going to be searching for a quarterback or trying to draft a quarterback, we felt we were in a good spot at the time.
Wrapping up with John Schneider, the Seahawks general manager. What's your biggest issue personnel-wise going into the offseason?
Wow, there's a bunch of them. But you know what? We started working on it about a month ago, and so we have a plan in place. We're going to keep just pushing through with our model and just really quite honestly just approaching it like every single day. We're trying to get better and we're trying to figure out what is best for the Seattle Seahawks organization and so we have a lot of issues, if you will, but they're really good. They're really good issues, and we'll focus on those and attack them day by day.
Richard Sherman's eligible for a new contract. Does he get one this offseason?
We'll see how it goes. I sure hope so. We want Richard to be a Seahawk for life.
Last one for you. Have you been to Paul Allen's house or have you been on his boat?
No, hell not. No.
Do you expect an invitation now?
I'm not sure. Paul Allen's a great man, but it's one of that's my boys look at his boat, that we got on the internet, and or he sent us an email actually of his boats or his yachts, I guess, or ships, I guess you would say.
Plural.
And,
Plural.
My boys are just freaked out, so they're like, "Holy cow, that's a big." I'm like, "Yeah, it's got a submarine on it." No, he's a good man. He runs the Seahawks just like any one of his organizations that that report to the Vulcan or fall under the Vulcan umbrella. But I was telling him, like, you're a pretty hard guy to negotiate contracts for.
Hey, he can buy a lot of things. He can buy a lot of boats.
Yeah.
You won him the one thing that he can't buy. So congratulations, Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks.
No, I appreciate it. I'm really happy for him and all the people back at Seattle. It's a really neat deal. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Hey, John, I appreciate you coming on. Get some rest, and we'll see you at the Scouting Combine.
Okay, sounds good. Take care, Mike.
All right, there he is, John Schneider, Seahawks general manager.